Now, earlier in the show, we talked about the drought conditions. Rick Treptow brought us that story. Now, let's turn to Mark Wildman, who takes us to Mitchell County to show us how dry it is there.
Judging by the way the corn looks on Kyle Pollock's farm, you might say, what drought? But this tall, healthy corn is the product of running irrigation nearly 24 hours a day. You do not have to look far, though, to see the area of the field where the irrigation does not reach. This short, burned-up corn is what the entire field would look like if the pivots were not running.
It's been tough. Right here in this area, we just hadn't had any rainfall. Got a little rain about 2 weeks after I planted this corn here, and it quit and hadn't rained since.
This expensive practice is the only way farmers in Mitchell and surrounding counties are going to keep the crops alive and thriving.
It's tough to keep them running. With this extreme heat and 100-degree weather, it's hard to stay caught up. You know, you're putting out 3 or 4 tenths, and with the evaporation and the ground temperature, it's just hard to stay up. You just have to steady night and day, keep them running.
Kyle surveyed his crops with his extension agent, Brad Yeager, who says this year farmers are struggling with the dry weather and intense heat.
We really got a pretty good yield potential on our irrigated corn where we've got adequate water. We've got some farms on the east side of our county where we're watering out of ponds and we're running out of water in some of those situations. So, but the corn the yield potential is good on our irrigated stuff. You saw the dry land field is shot, and thank goodness we just don't have a lot of dry land corn around.
And if you are depending on irrigation, the last thing you want to see is this. A broken down pivot has Kyle at the mercy of work crews.
That's a bad problem, especially the stage that this corn's in. It needs at least 3.5 tenths of water a day, and it's been down now for 3 days, and that's got me down behind at least an inch. So I'm gonna catch a hard time trying to get caught back up with it if we don't get no rain.
I talked to this serviceman at this farm just a minute ago, and he can't catch. He's been taking service calls 7 days a week for 3 months. So that's highly unusual. May, we're always doing a little bit of irrigation, trying to irrigate our corn, get some crops up, but we'll set records as far as the amount of irrigation in May this year, no doubt.
Over in this diversified farmer's cow pasture, the story is the same. Dry conditions have forced the cows out of the field and are being fed expensive hay.
So they're really starting to take a beating now. The pasture's gone, there ain't no grass left, and I got a few rolls of peanut hay I have from over the winter that I'm trying to stretch out and feed up, but I hadn't got but a handful of bales left, and I'm gonna have to look into another feed source somewhere.
Farmers in the area have to make tough choices. Many are going to have to sell cattle just to be able to afford the feed.
The crop that is really suffering in the county, though, is cotton. Some fields have been planted twice, and farmers still can't get a stand.
Well, Mark, we've got obviously topsoil just dried out. This field actually got a rain. We got about 50% of the plants up, but there's no subsoil moisture to keep that germination process happening, so our seedlings are just dying from no subsoil moisture as it's trying to go down and find the moisture with its taproot.
This cotton field is really just a field full of dust that not even the infamous pigweed will grow in this year.
This thing got so hot and dry now that it's killing it.
This field is a total loss, and the only hope for Kyle and his brother Justin is to get some rain and maybe plant over it. If that does not happen, the farm will take a big hit. In Mitchell County, I'm Mark Wildman for the Georgia Farm Monitor.